live. I have to do it. Maybe I'm
Sweet
also do
sport.
it.
We will be watching you.
Welcome inside the locker room.
We are smooth 98.1 FM. It's gone 16 minutes already past the hour of 8 o'clock. It is the 6th day of October 2023. It is time for the locker room, and guess who's here? The princess is here.
The
Tega,
princess,
Onojiafe.
the princess just wants to sleep.
Sleepy princess.
Oh goodness. Good morning and thank God it's Friday. I didn't even have the power to shout all the thank God it's Friday. So what has happened? So yesterday, it's like some people now went to Netflix. They're now watching that David Beckham's documentary. That's how some people started to argue about David Beckham and Posh Spice. In fact, let me just wade into this argument so that to end. I don't want to hear it again ever in your life. If you think, thought, were told, or imagined that David Beckham was ever up to Spice Girls standards, you were either not born at the time, a baby at the time, or you just like to argue for argument's sake. In what planet was David Beckham up to Spice Girls? Spice Girls were 5 times the popularity that David Beckham wished he had. In fact, David Beckham even said it in the documentary. Why they are still arguing is beyond me. That's how they were arguing about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. Don't get me wrong. I cannot tell you any Taylor Swift song. As I am like this, women empowerment, ladies in sports, I can't tell you. But even I can tell you everything about Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
From his first ring till now. I can tell you about his brother till now. But even I know that Taylor Swift has 5 times the popularity and 10 times the money that Travis Kelce has. So again, it's this argument. It's not a question of different crowds. Music is bigger. Everybody sings some kind of song, but not everybody watches the same kind of sports. So people should be coming down with this argument. Okay. Now that case has been settled by the Queen Tega. This is a royal, what's they call it? Royal edict. That thing that they give you. This is a royal decree. Please don't argue about Posh Spice popularity with David Beckham. It's not a good argument. It makes you look ignorant. All right, so let's go into the stories of today. But before we do that, Omar, tell us, how can we be a part of the locker room?
To be part of the locker room this morning will be for you to send us what your thoughts are on the sports stories this morning inside the locker room to 0809-444-0981 would be where you send us messages to. You can also leave us a message
on YouTube and see my shiny new gym outfit that Shokwe Martins bought for me.
/smooth 981 FM Lagos. Search for us on YouTube. You get us there. And you can also leave us a message at on X at smooth 981 FM. That's it, Tega.
All right. So whilst we're waiting on your messages, this weekend is Arsenal Manchester City, and we'll be talking about that. But before we do that, give us the headlines of all the other stories that we're going to be looking at in the locker room.
For the shape of things to come, shortly will be world number 1 Arina Sabalenka progresses to quarterfinal as Qatar Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton says Max Verstappen has done exceptional job. As England manager Southgate not a fan of the 2030 World Cup format. Then comes wounded Man City out to bounce back against injury-hit Arsenal as Liverpool too good for Singular Brighton battle back to hold Marseille. And then also we've got Serie A pace setters Inter and Milan facing injury problems as Barce's Lewandowski's risk Classico absence with ankle injury as merciless Miami's playoff hopes fade after 4-1 Chicago rout. Those are the stories, Tega.
All right, so Messi picked up an injury and all of a sudden Inter Miami cannot win again. It's just sad. I don't understand it. What's where they do? Oh yeah, they were losing before he came, so they just continued from where they stopped. All right, so let's start with the very first story in tennis.
World number 1 Arina Sabalenka has progressed to the quarterfinal of the China Open with straight set victory over Italy's Jasmine Paolini. And that's because the Belarusian Sabalenka, a US Open runner-up last month, beats the world number 36 6-4, 7-6.
All right. So that result, straight set as it is, was not a straight defeat for Paolini. Now here is what has happened. So last year in Indian Wells, the Italian won the matchup, and so when this matchup came on, even if Sabalenka is world number one, and even if she has been in fantastic form, it was always going to be a battle. And she did struggle, to get the win. The first set, I think she broke in the very last service game of the set. And then the second set was just topsy-turvy. We did not know who was going to take it. There were so many breaks, I even lost count. But it was a tough one, but that's why she's the higher ranked player. In the moment that mattered, she held her nerve and she was able to win that match. So kudos to her there. So she's through to the quarterfinals. She faces Elena Rybakina. Now, I have enjoyed their matchups this year because both of them just push each other to be the best that they can be. And so they square up again. I think it was Sabalenka that won the Australian Open, and then it was Rybakina that won the Masters. So I want to see who is going to win this Masters now because both of them have been sharing the wins whenever they meet. So let's see how that pans out for them. But earlier this morning, it just ended. Iga Swiatek was able to overcome Caroline Garcia. Now, Garcia has had a topsy-turvy year. She's not been in the best of form, but she was just coming into her moment. And she showed it when she was the first player in this tournament to take a set of Iga Swiatek. But Iga Swiatek, despite the questionable service games, despite the struggles, I think she served for the second set at 5-4. She couldn't close that out, but she was able to win it in a tie break, and then she dominated completely and massively in the third set, winning it 6-1. So congratulations to her. She's now through to the semis. Let's see if she can really take on I would say the players that are most in form now, Coco Gauff and Sabalenka, should they get to the finals.
Looks like a fine place to drift away to Qatar, the Qatar Grand Prix this morning. As Louis Hamilton says, Max Verstappen, praising him for doing an exceptional job as the Red Bull driver stands on the brink of a third consecutive title.
Yes, so this weekend in Qatar, should Verstappen win the race and should Verstappen win the race and then get the fastest driver, he could win the championship this weekend. Because the closest person to him is his teammate Sergio Perez. And so Sergio Perez will have to outscore Max Verstappen this weekend by 6 points. We all know who the favorite driver in Red Bull is. In fact, we know who the number one driver is. The other one is a spare. And so, of course, if Sergio Perez is the only person standing in Max Verstappen's way, then let's just count it that Max Verstappen is going to win this weekend. So a lot of drivers were talking about what he's done this weekend and how he's taken advantage of the package that they have and how that's not easy. People just assume that because you have the fastest car on the grid, you're going to be delivering every time. But he has delivered with the fastest car on the grid, and he's done it in a dominant fashion. Despite the fact he's the fastest, he doesn't give you. He will put his own intensity into the already speed that the car has. So it's a fantastic performance, I would say, for Verstappen this weekend. So I'm not sure, barring anything except a Ferrari or a McLaren or Mercedes is challenging him. If Red Bull is still the fastest car on the grid all through the weekend, then I don't think that the garage will let Sergio Perez, stop Max Verstappen from taking his third title. Well, second in my books, but third officially, because we all know who won 2021. But yeah, so it will be interesting to see how that pans out. And I like this coming from Lewis Hamilton. I've always said this. Lewis Hamilton is gracious. In fact, I think it's because he's gracious. That's why 2021 happened. So he came out to talk about how exceptional he's been and, how great he's been and how they've raised the bar. Because yes, Red Bull is telling everybody else on the grid, this is the standard you have to meet to be able to defeat us. And so you can either take the bait or you can struggle from behind. So I hope to see a more competitive next season. But Red Bull is just so far ahead. I don't know how.
It's good control. Definitely watch out for the Qatar Grand Prix. You would find out what it's the outcome. Let's drift away now to England as the manager. Southgate, not a fan of the recently announced host of the 2030 World Cup across 6 countries on 3 continents, could lead to issues in sporting integrity. England manager Gary Southgate is chesting it fully. Saying,
No, I agree. So here's when they announced it. So first of all, they said Spain, Morocco, Portugal again is going to host the World Cup. I was like, fantastic. Africa and Europe. I know the border is not far. I was like, great. Then they said, oh, because of the 100 year, that they're going to also play in Paraguay, Argentina, Uruguay. So you have to understand, apart from the logistic nightmare, now they'll play 3 matches there. And Argentina, Paraguay, and Uruguay say they're going to put for more matches. May I not catch them? May I not catch them on the mainland? But here it is. Now, there will be those teams that will play the 3 matches in South America.
Yes.
After playing those 3 matches, they will now fly to go to either Africa or Europe, and the weather will be about the same at that time for those places. But now you have to understand, time zones will change. So that's the first struggle. Then they have to, where will they acclimatize to? Will they acclimatize to Europe in their training in the build up to World Cup, or should they acclimatize to South America in their training in the build up to World Cup? Where do you want them to hold their
jet lag there too?
Do you understand? So at the end of the day, just imagine you're one of the teams traveling from South America. You now have to play a team that has been. You have to come to Morocco to play a team that was in Morocco 3 weeks before the tournament, and then has been there since. How do you want to? It's not that they already have the advantage. So first of all, when they announced it, a lot of people were so excited. Oh, we'll be able to see the World Cup in our houses. And think of the players and think of the integrity of the game. Some people are going to be disadvantaged by the time zone, by the travel. If FIFA wants to carry out the logistics nightmare with their staff, that's them and their welfare manager or an HR can address that issue. But for the players, it's a lot.
The spectator too.
It's a lot. Not with spectator.
Fans' life matter.
No, fans love it. Because think about it, some people say, I'm not going to South America, and they don't have to. South America is already filled with people. So Argentina, Uruguay, and Paraguay, the fans are happy. They love it. They will fill the stadiums. That's not the issue. Some other fans will just be like, let those people enjoy this one. I'll enjoy the ones in Europe. Because if I'm in Nigeria, I'm not going to go to, South America. I'm going to go to Morocco and Spain because it's just one border. I'm just going to do South America and Europe. I'm not even sure about Portugal.
Yes.
I'm going to do Spain and Morocco. So for fans, it's not an issue. But for the players, when they are not air hostesses.
Maybe you should talk to Infantino to know where this experiment
I don't know. Sometimes when they bring out this idea, it's so fantastic, and the money they will make. Can you imagine making money from 6 different countries? Oh boy. Well, money talks and everything else works.
They're probably being pushed by the success from the Qatar World Cup and all of this, so they just don't know when to stop right now.
I don't know. I mean, 6 countries, 2 different continents. How many time zones in between? Let's on that note, let's just take a quick break. When we come back, we will be delving into Arsenal versus Manchester City. Right. You tell me what your predictions are, but only after this quick break.
And that will be for you to send messages to 0809-444-0981. We expect to see the messages there. And also be sure to raise over to our YouTube channel to see what Tega is doing, working out, as well as she's talking sports this morning on youtube.com/smooth981 FM Lagos.
I think I have to stretch, if not I will sleep. So we'll come back.
Radio station.
Yeah, this thing. Sorry, the YouTube.
To knock and power. Ibuka, pain for body, pain from fever. Any kind pain they bow for Ibuka. That's why I'm the carry of always. Ibuka power, pain away. Ibuka, they buy me always. Ibuka, for you always.
After 3 days, if body no tranga, go see Dr. Now, Shalina Healthcare Limited, the market.
Come and buy your fresh fruit, sweet orange,
how YouTube is. So I think you should turn it. Sorry, we are going to straighten it now. Kule say you want us to be bending our neck, Abi.
How about now?
Hold on.
The title of Slum King is reserved only for the chosen, for no one else carries an aura worthy of its weight. Follow Magia's epic journey to power and the all-new action-packed drama Slum King, starting October 8th and showing Sundays
me
at
see if
8
it's
p.m.
on.
on Africa Magic Showcase
will.
on DSTV and GoTV.
What does future forward banking mean to you? Speed, innovation, convenience,
Sorry, we have turned it
lifestyle
straight.
goals, or just simply getting service that is designed
I want to
just for
report.
you?
Come and show yourself.
Yeah,
Come and show the
we
people
thought
what
you
you have
might
done.
like all of
Kule,
that
come and see
and
the person
more.
that did this
That
thing.
is why we
Maybe we
specially
should pay him half
created
salary.
Providence
Come
Bank
now.
for you
He's a
to
fine
take
boy,
care of
but
your
I don't know what
daily
he's doing.
experiences. At Providence Bank, we believe that banking should be all about you
He's-
and
I have
your business.
apologized.
He
and
doesn't
how to
want
get
to
you
come.
to the next level.
He's ashamed on
If you
his
do not
behalf.
already have a
And hence
Providence
he's
Bank
begging
account,
you, begging.
please speak with our business concierge
But thank
on
you for that.
0700
Yeah, straight now.
77 684
We are straight in
or
this
email
office.
businessconcierge@providencebank.com to switch to a future forward banking experience.
Like with Shisunak, I like when he said, man
Providence
is man,
Bank.
woman is
Woman
woman.
is
I was like,
Future forward
I
banking.
said we are going to go back to 1949. The way we are doing now, because the land is so morally bankrupt, to reset it, instead of us going back, it's not everything we're supposed to wipe away. We're going to go back to 1949.
Reset total.
Come back.
Yeah.
Any kind pain they bow for Ibuka. That's why I'm the carrier always. Ibuka Mama said I'll
So we'll come back with these messages. Just LK otherwise message.
Go see Dokita.
I'll read LK's message and then we'll go to WhatsApp.
98.1.
The best of everything in the morning. And more.
A little less conversation, a little more action.
Weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
We're smooth. 98.1 FM is gone 27 minutes before we hit the 9 o'clock mark. But Tega is still inside the locker room and a whole lot to unpack. Tega.
Yes, and thank you every single one that is inside the locker room with us. You should be watching us on YouTube. I've told you I have a shiny new, that makes me look somehow. But yes. All right, so let's take your messages. Messages already coming in. Thank you, Kunle, for your message. We've rectified that. Thank you, Abiodun, for the message. But Elke Aderba says here, Tega, it's 3 continents, or not 2. It's true. I keep calling Morocco. I don't know what's wrong with me. It's Africa, Europe, and South America. Tega Onojiafe. Thank you, Elke Aderba. He said it's 3 continents. And it sounds ludicrous. As it is. Meanwhile, it be like say person wake come Chelsea don't die. Wake cause Chelsea don't die. Oh. Join me to do Thanksgiving. I don't think so. I think you're having a Manchester United break. Remember when they went to win 2 matches in a row? But I think Chelsea can do better. All right. So we'll talk about that this weekend. But the biggest matches this weekend in the EPL is the Arsenal Manchester City match. And we'll be taking your predictions and your thoughts on that. But first of all, let's read the
Ajibade Oluwaseun's here with a message. Dear Tega, are you saying everyone listening to the same type of music? I never liked Spice Girls. They were just there as far as I was concerned. David Beckham, Abba. How dare you compare God to a mere mortal? And then it goes, where were the Spice Girls? Where are the Spice Girls now? You don't even play them as such on Smooth. And it goes on. The legacy of David Beckham lives on. Tega. Jumaoto.
You see why I said we should not argue with this kind of people. If I check Ajibade's age now, he's probably 22. You'll be talking to people that were living in the times.
I told them
In
earlier
fact,
on.
it's not even just in the times. I think it was no, it was not recently.
Mm-hmm.
It was sometime maybe 2 years ago. We were all hanging out somewhere, and this couple walks in. Now, when this couple walks in, everybody was just making noise and shouting and excited. Apparently, it was Ginger Spice that walked in with Christian Horner. So everybody was just making so much noise. They were jumping and shouting because Ginger Spice walked in. And I was excited because Christian Horner walked in, because what's my business with Spice Girls?
Yes.
But I was the minority. So I am a sports person. So I'm always going to appreciate the sports people more. But you have to acknowledge how big.
And you know what? Even building off of the back of what you said, you need to see the crowd that comes along now with Taylor Swift to come see the games
Yes,
now.
you know, I don't think Travis Kelce hasn't sold as much jerseys until he started hanging out with Taylor Swift. So Ajibade, stop arguing. These are the experts here. This is not a conversation for who is popular. Let's go to Tayan.
FIFA are about to turn the World Cup into world concert. This is a true definition of logistics nightmare.
I'm telling you, it is just it's crazy. And then
Spice Girls always bigger than David Beckham. Up Liverpool style.
Okay, I don't know whether to believe that that's the truth or whether to believe that this is from a Liverpool angle because David played for Manchester United.
Oh.
But let's go into the biggest match of this weekend.
Wounded Man City out to bounce back against injury hit Arsenal. Sternest possible test on Sunday when they host the Premier League champions Manchester City, who was still smarting after their unbeaten run came to an end last weekend.
Yes, so Manchester City bounced back during the Champions League. They won their match by 3-1, and good Lord, Alvarez's goal. I don't know whether to lick it or to chew it. It was that this goal was sweet. That's all I can say. But it was a brilliant way to come back and bounce back after losing 2 matches in a row because they lost in the Premier League and then they lost in the League Cup. So a tough one, but they were able to come back and win 3-1. And that, I mean, Manchester City is always going to have that dip in form, but somehow they plan their season so well that when they have their dip in form, it's not at the business end of the season. At the business end of the season, you just hear Manchester City has gone on a 13-match winning run. But middle of season, they can have 1 or 2 of those moments. So, as expected, I didn't expect that to last long. But now they score up against Arsenal. Now, on a normal day, Arsenal should have been a very good matchup where a lot of Arsenal fans would be hopeful. But Arsenal has mounting injury problems. Now, we're not even sure if Declan Rice is going to be fit for this one. Because even if he comes back from injury, is he going to be fit enough to play at the same level as at the start of the season? That's the question. Saka's injury, Arteta was saying it's a little more serious than they expected. So even if he comes back, he's still going to be dragging something. And so whilst Manchester City has their own injury and their own suspension issue with Rodri, you still have to say that on paper, Manchester City are the more balanced side, are more likely to win, not just based on history, but also based on what is available for the team on the day. However, it's the Premier League match. Nobody saw Wolverhampton Wanderers defeat Manchester City, and it happened. So it could happen for Arsenal this weekend. But here is me going over to you because I want you to give me your thoughts. Arsenal taking on Manchester City on Sunday. Who do you think will win? And if possible, throw us a scoreline. The numbers to send your messages to are
0809-444-0981. Waiting for them. Or you go over to youtube.com/smooth981 FM Lagos. That takes us to Liverpool, too good for Sengelo as
no, first, let's read some of the prediction.
Okay, let's see.
Why are you like this? This one is from AY.
AY says Arsenal versus Man City will be exciting one. Both teams can go against each other toe to toe, as we've seen from the results of the Community Shield earlier this season. It will be a thrilling game of football. My popcorn is ready. AY from Oniru.
Give us scoreline. Are you afraid?
And then in comes Mohammed. Tega, nothing like dispute in Max's 3 championships. There is nothing like controversy that was taken from Max in Saudi, which Hamilton wanted to boycott, which he controversially won, was given back to him on the last day. The fact still remains, Max was the leader majority of the year. Hamilton wanted to use backdoor to win. Failed British arrogance.
Oh, hey, yeah. I like when Mohammed brings his agenda. Even the F1 said it, that the championship of 2021 had human error.
Yes.
That determined the outcome of the... Why do you think they fired, what's his name again? Michael Massey. Mohammed, you cannot rewrite history. You may hate the British arrogance, but you cannot rewrite history. Ibuku, good morning. He says,
Good morning, Tega. This three-continent World Cup just shows that people that make the decisions do not have the interest of players at heart.
bam.
We're seeing the effects of Winter World Cup with all the injuries made worse by multiple competitions. Fred Polo, Tega, Declan Rice played against Lens.
Yes, what I did not say he's not going to play. I said he will not even. Is he going to be fit?
Mhm.
What was the result against Lens? Let's not shout it out before they'll come for people.
On a low.
It was 2-1. All right. This message
Arsenal,
says
Man City will be interesting and goal galore. 3-2. GG.
3 goals
Ibrahim.
for who and 2 goals for who? Please specify so that we will call you on Monday.
Yes.
So if you say Arsenal will score 2 goals and Man City will score 3 goals and it doesn't happen, let's know. Please tell us who is winning.
Martins from Lekki, everything is clear. Man City will win Arsenal. Remember, City lost their last match and they can't lose back-to-back. And Arsenal, Saka has injury already. So Man City has everything to win that game.
Correct. Now, give us scoreline.
As Arsenal, Tayo says, Arsenal should calm down with their expectation occasioned by injuries. They lost in UEFA with VAR not being controversial. It looks ripe for Man City. Mbappe disappeared like Avatar.
Okay. So he's correct. So he said Arsenal 3, Manchester City 2. Okay, on that note, let's just quickly rush through the rest of the story.
Let's get to Liverpool being too good for St. Gillow and Brighton back to hold Marseille.
Yes, so at some point during the match, someone was saying, De Zerbi has been found out that this Brighton, they are struggling. And teams go through good and bad seasons. But for some reason, every time De Zerbi struggles, they'll say he has been found out. Anyway, he was found out and he found them back out because his team came from 2 goals down to go away with a draw, with a 2-2 draw. On the other hand of Liverpool, I mean, they didn't play their best. They always seemed like they were stuck in gear 2, but they always looked in control. And they won their own match. Diogo Jota coming bringing in the late goal to give them a 2-0 win in that. West Ham also continued their winning streak in Europe, so kudos to them. I think the only teams that really disappointed in Europe from England, Man U and Arsenal. All right, let's quickly.
Then comes Serie A setter Inter and Milan facing injury problems.
All right, so tough one this weekend, but they both have matches that seem winnable. But the injuries seem to be mounting, and again, this goes back to what has happened from 2022. They had to rush that season. Then there was the World Cup in between. Then if you are from Europe, there's the UEFA Nations League. There's just a lot going on for players this time around. And it's beginning to tell with all the injury problems that they're having. But if they can, survive this weekend and get a result, it'll be interesting to see. Otherwise, it just makes the league more interesting. If Inter Milan loses to Genoa, that's it.
Everyone is going through a lot, bottom line.
Everybody's going through a lot.
Just going through your a lot.
Just manage your a lot very well. All right, let's go to the next story.
Barce's Lewandowski risk Classico absence with ankle injury.
And like I said, everybody's going through a lot, from Italy to Spain to England. Injuries everywhere. It's like players are taking up injuries per second. And Lewandowski picked up his own injury. And it's a tricky one because they're not really worried about this weekend. They're worried about the El Clasico. And that's really huge. You'd want him because of the way Barcelona has been flying high. Real Madrid has also been good. I think there's just 1 point between both of them at the top of the table. So Real Madrid ahead by 1 point, Barcelona in second. And apart from position on the table, is bragging rights, is everything, is political. You know how the El Clasico is. So I think Xavi will be praying that the diagnosis at the time, or the prognosis at the time, was that he was going to be out for a month, which means he's out for the El Clasico. But there's so much technology and so much medicine these days that he could come back earlier.
Now, close this out. What do we gain if we won't put Messi into in the bus or under the bus at this moment. But
yeah,
merciless Miami's playoff.
I mean, he picked
trade.
up an injury, and remember, his injury already cost them a cup, because everybody was anticipating that he'll play in the final so that they can win another trophy. He didn't play in that final. They lost it. And they've been losing. They haven't been winning as much since his injury. So it's a tough one for them. They thought with Messi coming in and all the wins he was bringing in, they were going to be able to make the playoffs. But now they're 5 points away from the playoff spot, and they have only 3 matches left, and they don't seem to be winning. It was a complete rout against Chicago. I think it was 4-1. So tough one. And a lot of people came out that day because before the match I said Messi could be coming back. So people bought tickets. 62,000 people came to watch the match. Messi did not play. They will give back my change if I'm the one. Okay. All right. And on that note, we wrap up the locker room. Let's take these messages from YouTube. Azuka says, hi, Tega. I see you. Abiodun says, Tega, forget matter. Arsenal will still bow to their God tomorrow. No KDB, no worries. Still 3-0. 3-0 in favor of Man City. And on WhatsApp, we have this.
Tony from Amuwo.
Oh, no, that's not our message.
Just scroll up a bit and that's it.
Martins from Lekki says, Man City 2, Arsenal 0. My sure prediction. Man City always have been beaten. City 3, Arsenal 1. And let's write a message from Donye. He says it's Arsenal. There is no question about it. All right. On that note, we want to thank you all for your messages on WhatsApp and for watching us on YouTube and for listening to us in the locker room. Omas?
Say thank you very much, Tega. Have a great day. And that's how we say the locker room has come to an end. My name is Omatseye Atsenuwa. Good morning.
Honke. There's some